a few.
Hi there, and welcome to week 8 and week 9, and probably I think the first time I've been on the podcast this year. How's it going, Craig?
Good afternoon, Johnny. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Well, I've taken some of the spray from my throat, so hopefully I'll keep me going, and I'll get another spray before the next podcast because there's more talking in that one. But it's nice. It's nice to be on the show.
Nice to see you on it. So apologies for last weekend not being able to get one ran out. It was a bit hectic at work, So we'll run through the week 9 scores, and then we'll concentrate on that. There's a lot to talk about this week, you see, Johnny, because there's, of course, with it being trade deadline week, there's been a lot of action. So we'll run through the week 9 scores quickly, and then we'll look through the games of week 10. We'll look through the table, and then we'll finally hit up the trade section. So excuse me smiling away because it was a good week for me, I believe. But but we'll go back to week 9 first, and the Madhouse G-men, it wasn't your week, Johnny, there, was it? 64-86, losing to the Bluetooth Patriots and keeping Chris ticking over, keeping him in the hunt for the division there with 91 points. He got the win there. And then you had Mark, 123 points. Typical Mark, he's up and down like a yo-yo, and he has a big week this week. And of course, he was up against the league bunny, so it didn't overly matter. They didn't need the points, but he got them. And he beat in back to We Trust, 76 points. And Doug's chucked it for this year. He's on to next year now anyway. So no big loss for him. It was a great win for Graham, getting the win over Sean, 106 points against 103 points to Sean's Factory of Sadness. It's certainly triggered a reaction in Sean, from this week's actions. And a great win for Graham. It kept him in the hunt for the playoffs. Straight out of Hampton. I think this was like the fourth win in a row or something. Fifth week in a row, over 100 points, and beating Sacked in the morning. And again, Aaron's on to next year as well now, but 76 points against 101. Good win for Graham. And then, here we go. This is why I had to run through the week 9 points scores, because if I didn't, then it would be a little bit self-centered, I would say, because the number 1 seeds heading in at 6 and 2, heading in at 6 and 2, league champs and number 1 seeds for the season so far, decided to have a off week, 68 points, and of course it would be right up against the Batman's boobies, and Ray comes storming through with his highest score of the year, 106 points, and got the win, and then inexplicably dropped Baker Mayfield right thereafter, who's been carrying them all the way, but we'll look at that a bit later. And then the Eskimo Brothers absolutely knocked it out of the park, 144 points, gave Kirkwall Raiders an absolute doing, and Alan has went in proper chuck it all in mode, and 83 points was probably the catalyst for that. And then Le'Veon in a prayer, 104 points against Boys Are Back in Town, 69. So it was, Michael's keeping himself up there and keeping himself in touch with the playoff race, and indeed holding a playoff spot at the moment. So that will give him a good shout at getting in. And then Varsity Blues, 87 points. So not the best points total in the world, but it was more than enough to beat poor Joe's Tartan Bears in his 70.20. But, Joe's, he was up there, just much like myself this week, had an off week, and he managed to steal the victory. So that was week 9 score. So we will now go into week 10.
What one do you want to do first?
So, let's start the other side. Let's start with your game then, Johnny. Let's go and see. Oh, I'm in week 11. I'm looking down and I see 20 points for you, and I'm going, that can't be right. So, so straight out of Hampton, stealing the victory against the Madhouse G-men. Now, you can tell me, Johnny, because, this game all came down to Monday night's Eagles versus Packers. Now, the game that finished 10-7 on Monday night. So you would think that whoever had the points going into the night would be the winner of the game. And I'm sure when Graham woke up and saw 10-7 to the Eagles, he had much apprehension as he opened up Sleeper to find out what happened. And 0-0 at half time. Madhouse G-Men well on top, and then boom, in rocks Josh Jacobs with the touchdown. Boom, in rocks Devontae Smith with the touchdown. And before you know it, there at Hampton, knocks himself up to 120 points and nabs the victory off you right at the death. Harsh.
Well, yeah, it was a bit of a sore one, but thing is, it wouldn't have been that close if obviously Jackson hadn't been injured, because he was looking good.
That slowed him down a little bit. But it was very unfortunate for you, Johnny, and it was but you scored 115 points in a week where you were missing Rice, you were missing Pickens, and you were missing Ferguson. So to score 115 points, missing those players, it's you're 500, going into the last 4 weeks of the season, and at 5-5, I mean, two wins will probably be enough to get 2 out of 4 will probably be enough to get you into playoffs. So it was a bit unfortunate that you lost it, but your team's looking solid, and Graham, it's going to kick Graham on now. That's like 4 or 5 wins in a row he's had. So he's kicking on now. So let's go to Sacked in the Morning now against the Bluetown Patriots, and the Bluetown Patriots marching on again. 116 points, and they're keeping up with straight out of Hampton. They're up at the top of the south, right. And they're beating Sacked in the Morning, 83 points for Aaron again. It's kind of where he's been all season long. It's what's he got? Brees Hall has been fine, but Montgomery's been way too up and down. He'd lost Jackson to injury, and DK Metcalf's been utter garbage, really. I mean, there's a lot of money they're paying him to do that. And when you see what Pickens is doing over at Dallas, you have to wonder what's going on in Pittsburgh, don't you?
Yeah, well, Aaron Rodgers affected as well, but it's not for Pickens. Pickens is going to catch the ball in Pittsburgh. But they've not had a decent quarterback. I know they've got Rodgers, you know that, but they've not had a decent quarterback for years.
No, they haven't, because even Ben Roethlisberger was awful for his last 5 or 6 years, so they really haven't. So it's on to next year for Aaron. He's down at the bottom there now, and he'll be looking towards the consolations and hopefully getting a team together to maybe have a wee run at getting the first round pick. But Chris is doing really well. He's keeping himself up there. It's another great win. It's over 30 points. You'll be delighted with how Kyron Williams is going. He's getting plenty of touches. Jared Goff having a big week. So, I mean, he's keeping himself there. He's in touch with Graham at the top. And even if they don't, they've now got themselves in contention for a playoff spot. If they don't win the division, the two of them have got a good shout now. So, things are looking on the up and up for Chris as well. Then we've got the Eskimo brothers there, keeping themselves ahead of your good self, Johnny, and a good win for Sean despite only 81 points, beating Boys Are Back in Town 62. And again, I think that's it for Ross now. Hint, hint, if you're watching, check your inbox. I mean, Josh Allen's done good things for him, but other than that, he's the curse of not being fully attentive to the draft and ending up drafting 4 quarterbacks. He started well, he got the wins early doors, and we thought he might be able to fight through it, but alas, the lack of depth has bit them in the ass. So and as for Sean, I mean, I don't, he's doing these things for all of these Raiders and Jaguars, and it's I don't quite know how he's winning all these games with these players, but I mean, Genty's going along fine now. He's got DJ Moore there for Chicago, who's doing okay. Trey McBride's obviously a big one for him, but and of course Caleb Williams is doing better than most thought. So I mean, he's there. He's 7-3. He's right up there, and he's got to be looking towards the playoffs now. At 7-3, he's practically there. One more win and it's guaranteed. And finally, Michael again getting the win, again on a low score, 72.90 against Kirkwall Raiders, 52.82. And Alan's now officially chucked it. He's on to 2026. And Michael's the one that put the final nail in the coffin with a fantastic victory. He's got Herbert there, not great, but double digits. Algier getting a couple of touchdowns out of Algier had to help. He didn't see that one coming, I don't think.
Well, he was getting the ball in the 20.
That's it. It was a bit crazy, and of course, and it's that one was in Germany as well, so that one was early, so it got him off to a good start in the week, and that was without Williams, without Imanor, so players to come back as well, so it's Michael's looking quite strong to get into the playoffs, and it's all about the consolations now for Alan. He's got to look towards getting that number one pick or getting as close to it, but he's got a heck of a lot of early round picks anyway, so good shout for 2026, but done for 25, I'm afraid. So now into that was the East and the South, so this is now the West and the South, so this is the East and the North. Now the East gave the North an absolute shellacking the week before, but alas, the North bounced back. And again, I mean, I don't know what's it. Let's look at it. Baxter We Trust got the victory, a rare victory for Doug's team this year. But it's starting to fall apart for Joe a little bit, and I'm not quite sure why. He's got that's 2 losses in a row now, and he's kind of starting to look over his shoulder. But AJ Brown's just been such a disappointment for him. You'd expect more from Addison. Swift's starting to lose touches to Monongai, so it's getting a wee bit tougher for Joe as it goes along. St. Brown will do him fine, but he's obviously was missing Mahomes and he was missing his kicker and Butler, and he's kept him there on the bench. So tough week for him. And Doug's showing that he's going to be competitive in the consolations, if nothing else. He's got 77 points, will be competitive in the consolations if he gets there. And he's got a few players there that are going to be scoring. He's got Jennings, he's got McMillan. He's still sitting on them. He's not traded anything this week, which is a surprise given the amount of trades that have went through. He's got Christian Watson sitting there as well, who's always the big bomb target, for Jordan Love, if Jordan Love can ever get his crap together. So it's looking for Doug, obviously consolations in 2026.
Yeah, but it's good though. You get
Joe's still a very favourite to get into the playoffs. 6-4, but he's going to need to snap that 2-game losing streak very soon. So then we've got the Factory of Sadness, and they came up with the win. It's after the 100-point Batman week for Batman's Boobies the week prior. 40 points they scored, inexplicably dropping Baker Mayfield. I mean, I just don't get it.
I don't get that one,
Johnny. I don't understand. You're putting in Geno Smith, for goodness sake, and you're dropping Baker Mayfield. Now, I guess he was on the bye week, but you can't be dropping Baker Mayfield. Anyway, Baker Mayfield was dropped. CMC done absolutely nothing, and it was a nice wee win streak that the Batman's Boobies were on. I think they were 3 in a row going into this week. But so Sean's team didn't do a whole lot. Factory of Sadness didn't do a whole lot, but they done enough. It was a rare double-digit week for Keon Coleman. He got up there, but I mean, Walker's not doing much. Henry's not doing much. He has given up on Justin Fields now. It's he's sat on him for just a wee bit too long, in my opinion. But he's gone now. So I mean, it's Sean's obviously right there. He's been trading again this week, which we'll see. But he's got Chase and Brown coming back off the bye week, and he still managed to get the win. So very much a playoff bound, and very much
a danger one,
a danger team for the playoffs. And Ray's on to next year. I'm afraid there's no coming back from that. Now, after a 3-game win streak, got them back into it. Well, I mean, at 4 and 6, who knows? We'll look at that when we get to the tables. So then we've got we've got mine, but who else have we got? Who's the third one?
Oh, there it is.
Grote. Where's the Grote? Yeah, so another good win for the Grote, despite not breaking that 100 point barrier, you know, but a good win, 94 points, because Copenhagen Jets, after a big week the week before, much like it goes for Copenhagen Jets most seasons, up, down, shake it all about. So, yeah, I mean, Darnold didn't do a whole lot for him, you know. DeMarcado done okay, but you know, haven't Bejan gave the touchdowns away to Algier, so that's always going to hurt Mark, you know, and it kind of lives and dies there. He's now lost Garrett Wilson to IR, so he's gone. And yeah, huge, not a whole lot, but yeah, and it's you know, he sat with Joe Burrow on his IR list, if you know, for since he went on it, and then he dropped him this week. So I don't get it, but yeah, thanks, Mark, because I picked him up. But yeah,
I don't get it, because if he's coming back, you drop Joe Flacco, you stick with Arnold, then you've got him back week 13, 14.
For the no, I mean the thing is, as a risk is, I mean, if the Bengals lose the next 2 weeks, he's not going to come back. They're not going to bring Joe Burrow back this season if they've got no chance of getting in the playoffs. They just won't do it. So that's the dice that I've rolled is that he's
Mariota too.
Yeah, but he's got Mariota there as well. So yeah, it's the dice that I've rolled is that he does cut. Do you know that they win one in the next 2 weeks? They've still got a chance getting in the playoffs, and he does come back. And if he does, then that's great because they have a good dead run in the playoffs for me. So yeah, it was a great win for Brodie, you know, and he's managed to go and bag Baker. He picked Baker up off the agency, so that was a great pick up for him because Mayfield's a points machine in fantasy. He really is. It's even without Evans and Godwin there to throw at, and you know, even McMillan was a big target then the year. Mayfield finds the receivers, you know. He's got Tej Johnson that he's thrown a lot to now, and of course Ibuka's an absolute superstar, so he will be just fine, and he will make Brodie's team stronger. You know, and he's now got the stack as well with Ibuka, so that's a little bit worrying. You know, Drake London's looking special now.
Yes,
and yeah, it's looking good for Grote again. He's staring at the playoffs now, and it's a case of he should be thinking about week 15.
Mm-hmm. And the high score.
Yeah, and then finally, you know, so after a week where you give the pass to Batman's boobies, you know, you throw them the win. Poor Farts Flying Eagles got bear the brunt of the bounce back with, and this is after Bo Nix scoring 6.8 points on Thursday night and having me freaking out that I'm going to lose 2 in a row and get dragged back into the mire a little bit. No, what's going to happen? I had 3 days of that chain of thought, you know, and you know, oh, is that JT done? Is this how it's going to be the rest of the season? I mean, this is the Colts. They don't normally get involved. Oh no, and is A-Chan not quite the, you know, Miami are rotten and blah blah. So yeah, it was very nice to have the massive bounce back and JT and both JT and A-Chan to go off. What is it, 40, 80 points, 80.1 points,
over half your score.
81.1 points. So between the two of them, those two alone would have beaten a lot of teams this week, you know. So yeah, I've got to be happy with that. What I wasn't happy about is my receivers, you know. Devontae Adams is great for the touchdowns, but you know, Debo's dodgy, and he's now got Mariota and thrown to him. Warren keeps doing okay, doing fine, you know, but the flex slot, it's just been a nightmare. Kamara's now holding it, but 11.5. That was what I was looking at as my downfall for the season and very much my weak spot because my bench is terrible. But yeah, it was a great week for me, not a great week for Graham, and poor Graham because he's Sunday afternoon he was going along really well, you know. Hutz was going okay, you know. Aaron Jones was scoring. He had Diggs getting some catches, you know, so he was nicking over okay, but as soon as you know, obviously Taylor was in earlier on as well, so it was pretty much, it didn't matter what he was doing because it was already over with Taylor scoring nearly 50 points at the half 2 games. So unlucky Graham, but on to the next one. You're not a million miles behind. You're still very much in the chase, and that's because let's do the league tables now, Johnny. So we've got yeah, so in the north, you know, I've show me the Packers 7-3. Varsity Blues changed my life 7-3. both looking towards the playoffs now. Factory of sadness at 6-4. Got to be thinking playoffs as well. You know, there's no big worry there for Sean. And Baxter we trust are on to 2026, having sold their soul. In the south, straight out of Hampton, as we say, came running back. I think is that a 4-game win streak? Yeah.
4 games.
So from 1-5, straight out of Hamptons came charging back to 5-5 and sitting right there at the top. Bluetown Patriots at the same score, 5-5, and it's down to the two of them now. One of them's going to win the division and guarantee a playoff spot, and the other one's going to be in the mix for 7th or 8th. Kirkwall Raiders gone, bye bye, and boys are back in town, gone, bye bye. P.S. Look at your inbox, Ross.
There were 3-1 as well. 6-game losing streak.
In the East, we've got Tartan Bears 6-4 right at the top still, and 2-game losing streak is what's going to be worrying Joe, and he's got to hope to turn that around this week because Farts Flying Eagles are right on their tails at 5-5 and now just 1 game behind, and again that's going to be the winner obviously secures their spot, but the runner-up's going to be in the mix but might not make it. And Coping Badly Jets as well. I keep ruling them out, but you shouldn't rule them out. You should never rule them out. And at 5-5, they're only 1 game behind Tartan Bears now. So Mark's right there, right in it. And then you've got, of course, Raymond down at the bottom there, and he's Batman's boobies at 4-6. I mean, technically not out of it, only 2 behind, but with 4 weeks to go, and what he's done to the squad, dropping Mayfield, he's out of it. Then finally, the West, very tight. Your division, Johnny. Eskimo Brothers, how they're up at 7-3, I will never know, but there they are, 7-3, top of the division. And Le'Veon and a player tucked in right behind. Both of them on good win streaks. Sean's on a 2-game win streak, and Michael from what would they have been at 3-4? He's won 3 in a row to get to 6-4 in the 3-game win streak. I mean, you've scored 100. You scored 100 points this week, but 2-game losing streak now, but at 5-5 and 2 games behind Sean. I mean, with 4 to go, and you've still got to play them all. It's very much close, and you're right in it. And of course, Aaron down at the bottom, he's on to next year as well. He's traded away Brees Hall, as we'll see in a moment. So yes, then so that was the end of week 10, Johnny, and then up came the big notification above the team. Big red letters, trade deadline is this week. If you want to trade, last chance lottery. So what happened was, initially, start of the week, and let me just get this up now. So it was the start of the week, and initially it became...
Sean and Groty, was it 3 days ago?
Initially it became a bit of a quarterback merry-go-round, So but it was kicked off with Sean picking up Daniel Jones from Groty and sending back Justin Fields. I assume for Groty just to dump into agency. And so I mean he's realised that his problems at quarterback, and he's went and he's dealt with it. You would think this is him dealing with it and it's job done. Giving up a 9th and a 12th for a 13th and a 14th. But it's a 1 quarterback league, so that's what you expect for a quarterback. So yes, he's a little bit of wheelie-dealy and interdivisional wheelie-dealy, which I don't like. There's too much interdivisional wheeling-dealing in the north, and it's starting to get on my wick. I'm not going to lie. It's stop making each other stronger. So yes, anyway, so good deal for Sean, not giving up too much, and as I say, it's fine for Groty. He's picked up a little bit after him trading himself quite a few away. So yes, that was done, and then back comes Sean again, and he's finished up. He's picked up Daniel Jones, so he's done with Joe Flacco now. He's saying no need for Joe Flacco. Here you go, Mark. You go and drop Joe Burrow to the agency so Craig can go and pick him up and make him stronger. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sean. So yes, he sends Flacco over to Mark, and he picks up a 10th for a 14th. And I think for the first time in Show Me the Money history, Fab has been traded.
Yeah. The damn thing is that there's been 2 good quarterbacks at free agency this week. 2 of the best ones in the league.
Yeah, well,
it's just crazy.
Burrow and Mayfield, both picked up straight away. So that's and both for decent fab values. So that tells its own story, So yes, the quarterback. The quarterback merry-go-round started there, and then Allen comes up. Well, Grote, sorry, after doing it and being involved in the quarterback merry-go-round, he thinks, oh, do you know what? I've got a little bit more capital in my back pocket now after my wee trade there. So I'll go and see what I can get. So he's decided that he's looked into week 15, 16, 17, and he likes what he sees for the schedule for Jalen Warren. And quite rightly so. He has the lead back in Pittsburgh for sure. And if he stays fit, he will be right the way through. And you can't imagine Pittsburgh are going to be falling out of the playoff race. But at the same time, you can't imagine they're going to be in with 2 games to spare, so they'll be playing right out to the death. So a good trade, I think, for Grote. I mean, Marks has been doing really well, and he seems to have the job down now as well. But if Joe Mixon does come back for playoff time, Joe Mixon will take a lot of touches off him. So I can see what Grote was doing there, and a good move. And of course, Allen's just picking up a wee extra bump up for next year. He gets a wee bit more in a minute, as you're about to see. See, a good trade for Grote again, making himself stronger.
Well, here's another. This is where Graham bumped in for a trade. He doesn't do very often.
Yeah, then Graham's looking in, seeing all that's going on, and he's looking, and then he's looking at his squad, and he's thinking, yeah, do you know, I'm only a running back shy from being in this. So, he knocked on Aaron's door, and I actually wish I never bothered giving Aaron a nudge, because Aaron was busy this week and hadn't noticed it coming in. So, but I gave him the nudge after tennis on Wednesday night, and Graham saying that he'd sent him one. And this pops through on Thursday morning. So I'm looking and I'm going, oh, come on, man. That's Graham getting stronger as well now. And I'm seeing my title slip away from me. I'm a Jonathan Taylor or Devin Achan injury away from it going up in smoke type thing, Good move for Graham. I think he got him a little bit cheap, I've got to say. I think Aaron's given him away just a little bit cheap there for a 4th. I would have been wanting a 3rd. Especially given back in the early 7th. But yes, it was Aaron's moved up a little bit for 2026, and Graham's obviously playing half a card to see if he can get into it this year after on a 4-game win streak. So yes, I was feeling a little bit left out. I was feeling a little bit dry. I was feeling a little bit upset, and then I see Alan's put CD Lamb on the trade block, and I thought, right, this is it. If I'm going to go for it, I've got to go for it. This is where I've got to make my move. So, so I put my bid in. And obviously quite a few folk did as well.
Yes, it was a busy market.
I got to the other side of it. And I sent him a message and I says, don't you dare sell Lamb without telling me what the final price is and giving me the option to beat it. So he came back to me, and I think he knew at that point that I was willing to pay a little bit more as well. So he cheekily upped it just a little bit. But yeah, I was at the end of the day, I had to make my move. I had to. It's history we're talking about. I'm going for history. So yes, after that, this was trade was done after me getting Burrow out of agency as well. And sticking him on the IR for the playoffs, hopefully, if he does make it back, which would be lovely. So yes, I've made myself decidedly stronger now, Johnny. I'm looking at my team, and it's there's not many weak spots there now. It's he can slot in with Adams. So yeah, perfect.
Of course, this trade here. This trade here had the commissioner's phone going a bit nuts for a little while there, asking ins and out questions of what they can and cannot do. Mm-hmm. So one was, can they use 2027 picks because that is available on Sleeper? So I did reply back no, but don't see it possibly from next year. It can't go ahead because everybody's going to be here for the long run. And then they asked what was the
I think we should
away a 2nd round pick, and I was like, you can do that if you want, but you just won't have a 2nd round keeper next year. So it's I was getting asked many questions yesterday.
I agree with both, Johnny. So I think to clarify on those kind of those bits and bobs of the rules, you didn't have the option, and let's have a look at that this week's. We'll have a look at this week's games as well in a minute. But yes, it's so you didn't have the option in NFL.com to trade into the 2 years ahead, but you do in Sleeper. I think they should make that a ruling from next year that you can indeed trade 2027 picks if you want and see how it goes, see what happens. I don't see the problem in it. I would recommend, though, that when you do trade one, you trade back another, because it's not a dynasty where you're keeping all your squad. You're only keeping a maximum of two. So I would say that make sure you do. If you're trading and you're giving away your fourth, just give back the 14th, just so as everyone's got a pick in the draft, and if you don't and you've picked up a 15th pick, you literally have to drop one to someone agency straight away. So what's the point? So double trading up in the picks, I would say. But yes, I think open up 27, the 2 years ahead, open that up from next year 100%. And as for the trading second round picks or even first round picks, again, I would agree. I think this is one we need to put on the WhatsApp chat, but I definitely think that should be allowed. If you trade your second round pick, you cannot have a keeper, and whoever you trade it to has a second pick in the second round. And if you trade your first round pick, you cannot keep one. You have no keepers because you've traded away your first round pick, and that trades away your ability to keep someone in the second round, because you have to, that's your second choice, not your first choice. So yes, I would say we can wrap that on as well. But I think that would be one for the WhatsApp group for a wee survey, to see if everyone agrees. But that's one that I would definitely say is a goer as well. And so now we're into week 11 now, Johnny, and it's it's getting tight. It's really tight around the playoff spots. Around 8th, there's a lot of 5 and 5s, a lot of 6-4s, and a lot of 4-6s who are in it, and of course the divisions, there's still quite a few up for grabs. So other than the in-backs that we trust, and Batman's Boobies game, which kind of seems a bit of a. I mean, don't get me wrong. If Batman's Boobies win that game, which they're favourite to do at the moment, I think, albeit tight. At 5 and 6, they're not completely out of it, but there is only 4 weeks to go now. So I do think the winning has to start now. That the losing at this point very much hurts no matter what position you're in. So Madhouse G-Men up against Kirkwall Raiders. Well, you'll be delighted with all the selling that Alan's been doing this week.
Well, I was happy to get rid of Lamb. I was happy with that one. So, but no, as long as Debo doesn't go off on one.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I think you'll be fine.
I'm after you if he does.
Well, I think you'll be all right there, because Mario has no great shakes. But yeah, you're off to a good start there as well with Drake May getting you 20 points. So good start for you there. Then we've
he got me 16, and you got me 4.
So you've got Henry played as well, yeah. And but I mean, Alan's off to 6 as well, so 6 against Henry's 4. That's kind of 50-50 there. Well, as I say, Doug and Ray's games, I kind of, if Ray wins it, it's not a throwaway, but it's looking that way in the terms of in the grander scheme. Tartan Bears, they really need to snap that losing streak, but it's not going to be easy for them. They're up against the Factory of Sadness, that's big game, because Sean's sitting there at 6 and 4. He's not there just yet, let's not forget that you're into the divisional games to finish weeks 12, 13, 14. So this is the last one outside your division. So Sean's got myself to play. Sean's got Grotty to play. He does have Doug to play, so that should get him to 7 wins. But then 7 wins isn't a guarantee. So Sean will be looking to get that last win, because it'll be tough games against me and Grotty. And Joe really needs to start the losing streak. So a massive game there. Sacked in the morning, the boys are back in town, much like Doug and Ray. It's pretty much a nothing game. This is posturing for the consolation playoffs, because don't forget the consolation playoffs. The winner of the consolation playoffs gets the first round pick, not the worst record, not the last place. The second place gets the second round pick, not the worst record Douglas, who sets up the league every year and says to me yesterday, Oh, is it not the worst record that gets second? So the winner gets first, and then the worst record gets second. No, it's not, Douglas.
This one, you always play for your draft spot.
Yeah, playing for your draft spot. That's exactly it. You're playing for your draft
Just like,
spot. So yeah,
in the top half. If you win the third and fourth place, you get the fourth round pick instead of the third because you win an extra spot up, and then it's the opposite the other way. So yeah, it's you play for the whole way, or you end up with a ninth pick if you end up not trying. So yeah,
ninth picks. Yep, that's it. So yeah, very much all to play for in the playoffs as always. I'm up against Mark this week, so Coping Badly Jets. It's a big week for Mark. It's not so much for me because, as I say, I'm on 8 wins because I've got Doug
no Jonathan Taylor this week.
It's I've got no Johnny T this week. Lamb makes his debut, obviously, but as a week and no Johnny T means I've got no Tyler Warren at tight end either. So I had to go and bring in Luke Musgrave. So yeah, I mean, I could see him. I could see this week not going according to plan. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. That's fine. It's good on Mark. Gets Mark closer to the playoffs, which would be good for me, I guess. Eskimo Brothers up against Bluetown Patriots. So it's a big week for Chris. He's on a win streak, but he's got straight out of Hampton there underneath playing Le'Veon and a prayer. And these two games with Eskimo Brothers and Le'Veon and a prayer as well, these are massive games because, again, you're going into your divisional rounds at the point after. So if Bluetown and straight out of Hampton both manage the wins there, that will please you no end, obviously, Johnny, because you're
right.
very much favourite to beat Alan this week, and it'll make your divisional games very, very tight, very, very important. Everyone in it. So they're two absolutely massive games, and obviously Graham's got a wee bit stronger this week, adding Brees Hall. But has he got a wee bit stronger because he only got him 6.4 points last night? So not the best of Brees Hall starts, but Graham is tight everywhere else. So it'll be a close game there against Le'Veon and a prayer. And of course, Bluetown Patriots have got Trevion Henderson, so they're off to a flyer against Sean's Eskimo Brothers, who I guess can't afford to lose one, but with you and Michael breathing down his neck, I'm sure, but would not like to. And then, of course, at the bottom there, you've got Varsity Blues Changed My Life, who again have been busy in the market this week. Up against Fat Flying Eagles, who really, really need the win to keep in touch at the top there with Tartan Bears and Coping Badly Jets. So yeah, that's a big game there as well. And Grote, he's at 7-3. So that's again, he can afford to lose one. He's got Doug to come as well. So a bigger game for Graham than it is for Grote. But yeah, that's so a lot going on this week. It's down to the divisions after this week, so lots happening there, and we'll see how the outcome. We'll see what happens going into the divisional games. But it's also tight, and it's going to the games that the playoff spots are going to be won and lost over the next couple of weeks, and there's a lot of people still involved in them. Of course, there's a few not so much, but they have to start looking for the consolations now and playing for their draft places.
Definitely. I think I've scored about 100 points more than the next team in the division, but I've conceded 956 points. So I've got over 1,000, scored nearly 1,000 against. I think Doug's got the most against. I think he's over 1,000 points. So,
yeah, he's been moaning about it, so he must be up there. He doesn't moan about it unless he really is, So yes, it's. I mean, it's all tight as it always is, but it's getting to the exciting stage of the season now, and there's so many players out. There's just about every top quarterback's missed some sort of time, so that there's teams going in different directions at the moment as well. There's teams that are losing players to injury because they're going down, and then there's other teams getting players back from injury because they're starting to come back. There's a few players starting to come back, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes and how that affects the form of teams, in the next few weeks.
I know, like you don't win the league in the draft, but you get a bloody good start if you pick yourself a strong team and you manage to avoid the 5 million injuries.
Absolutely.
This season, because it's like I say, every year it seems like it's getting worse, but it is more something to do with the fittest. That's what it's all about, more than survival of the fittest. Almost more than tactics and stuff like that.
Completely. I mean, there's a lot of there is a lot of luck involved in the game, and managing to avoid injuries. I mean, this season I've been very lucky in that JT's not got hurt, Achan's not got hurt. Adams has been playing most. I think he maybe missed 1 week, but I might be wrong there. Tyler Warren's been fit the whole season. So yeah, I mean, I've got lucky in that sense. It's that these players sort of avoided the injuries, and but you can definitely give yourself a good starting spot in the draft, and the likes of Doug and Alan, they've put themselves in prime position to do that next year. So they are obviously the two very early favourites heading into the year next year, and we'll see how they get on with it. And it's not Doug's usual way is to sell, to sell and go for it, and then copy, rinse, repeat. So he's going about it differently this year. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on with all these early picks next year, because he's very, very quick to criticise others who get the early round picks and then end up with a few injuries, and it goes Petey Tom. So I'll be interested to see how he copes with it, with the pressure.
In fairness, probably the unluckiest person in the whole of the Show Me the Money draft for having their early picks is Graham.
Yeah,
did he not lose Dobbins about 5 minutes after he made his pick?
Gus Edwards, I think it was, but yeah, it was literally the draft was still ongoing. The draft was still ongoing, and then the breaking news came through that he was out for the season.
Made it worse.
I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when that news came through, because he was in Greece as well, so he'd have had a skinful, He was on holiday doing the draft, so he would have had a skinful. And honestly, I wish I could have been there when that news came through to see his face and see his reaction.
And of course, I'm pretty sure we were laughing on the podcast about it too, because I had it live.
Yeah, that's honestly, that would have been. I wish I was with him to see it, but yeah, he did get unlucky, very unlucky with that. And it's difficult. It's no guarantee. See, getting all those early draft picks, it's no guarantee that remember, it's a 16-team league as well, and up to now you can only trade your third round pick up to the earliest third. So by the time you're getting those early picks, it's the kind of middle of the road guys. All the superstars are gone anyway. It's the middle of the road guys who have all got a lot of risk attached to them in the first place, So it's harder than you think with it. It's harder than you think with all those early picks to be able to put together the absolute superstar team that's going to carry you all the way.
Definitely, and yeah, it's hard, and it's also I've lost it. I've got Catherine came in and talked a minute ago. Completely lost what I'm talking about. But yeah,
I mean, it's the reason why the team who wins Show Me the Money does tend to have made a couple of in-season trades. They've traded up. The teams who win, they do tend to be the ones who trade up to get the better players, because as much as all the work that you can do in the draft, it's 16 teams. It's 16 teams, so it's difficult to get a proper superstar team straight out of the draft, and it always does tend to be teams who have traded that go on to win it. I broke that kind of trend last year by winning it without making a single trade, but I'm certainly not going to do that this year. I went for it this year in a big way, so we'll see how that goes too.
Yeah, and obviously next year the trade will be the Thursday night kickoff. It's going back to where it is after last year's pass, and hopefully we will show it live, because I'll be interested to see a reaction to Mr. Trader, grand champion almost of the Orkney Bowl. Show Me the Money, Sean, who has 1, 2, 3, and about 6 8th round picks. So he's got nothing between the third and the 8th, but he still manages to pick a good bloody team. I just want to, it's just he's got a knack.
I'm not being funny, Johnny, but if Ross checks his inbox and likes what he sees, then I'm going to be the same. so it'll be.
I was sending him a WhatsApp. He probably hasn't even looked at it yet.
There'll be two of us. There'll be two of us sitting there waiting, But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the run in. It's going to be a good end to the season. There's a lot of teams in it. There's a lot of teams there chasing down the spots, and anyone who makes the playoffs. I mean, I say it all the time. The 8th seed has won the title more often than the 1 seed has. So that's a point of note to take into it, that if you make the playoffs, you have a chance. It's any given Sunday, and it's the same down in the consolations. They're very important to position yourself for next year, and that's why we decide them that way, to keep you playing out to the end. So yeah, there's a lot to play for over the next few weeks, and it's going to be an exciting run to Christmas. I'm looking forward to it.
It will be, yeah. And obviously, picking up that tight end is probably quite good this week, the fact they're playing the Giants.
Yes, well, I knew you were going to bring it up. Do you know what? Do you know what bugs me about it? So, I mean, don't get me. The Packers are doing my nut in at the moment. I mean, understandably so. There's just something I cannot put my finger on wrong with the offense. I don't think the line's doing very good. And it's there's just something not fundamentally right with it at the moment. I just can't put my finger on what it is, but it needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed now. So, coming into New York and winning 14-10 ain't going to be enough. We need to give you an absolute slacking, and not only that, and so it worries me that it's going to be Winston at quarterback, because he's going to what it's like. He's going to be 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but. Is our offense going to be able to keep up?
And a fumble. But yeah, no. Well, I'm hoping he doesn't quite do that because Alan picked him up against me in here. So I'm hoping he has. I hope he has a fucking stinker. Because we're not going to make the playoffs. You give us shit. So
here, Johnny. Here.
So yeah, cheers. Hopefully.
Here. Yes, I agree. So yeah, let's see what happens. But there's something fundamentally wrong with the offense. So I'm hoping that we can get that fixed and kick on, because I do believe that we've got a chance if we can just find our mojo somehow along the way. And there's plenty of time to do so. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, into New York. So New York are a bit of a bogey team for us as well, man. You always seem to give us a wee bit of a bloody nose. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, that we do a bit, yeah, but I think just like beating Aaron Rodgers, that was all that was.
Well, yes, it's.
But no, it seems like a good game.
The only games that I ever remember against New York are losses. Like 2011 playoffs when we ran through the regular season easy as pie, and you came to Lambeau and gave it an absolute kicking, and then went on to beat the Patriots, obviously, in the Super Bowl, which really annoyed me because that was really a big year. That was us trying to go back to back as well, and that was probably the best chance Rodgers had again of doing so, and we lost in the divisional round. So yeah, that one annoyed us, and of course London. That was the other big one. It was which was loss again. So yeah,
I never saw you after the game for that one because you bucked up.
Yes, well, that was, but yeah, so it was very much, sorry, sore and sorry, sore. So yeah, I don't like playing New York. I'm not going to lie, I don't like playing you.
Well, you'll be glad to get out of the way then, as long as you get the win.
Well, as long as we need to get the win, but we need to see the offense doing something as well. We need the offense to start looking like the offense should look.
You're not going to get a better chance. Obviously, we're not the greatest, but our 3 young potential superstars will not be playing. Neighbours, Scatterbo, and Dart. So.
I mean, I think the future's strong for the future's looking very good for you with those 3, in place on rookie contracts, still on rookie contracts the next couple of years. You're going to get some nice early, you're going to be nice and early in the draft this year. So I do think the future looks good for you, but it depends who you bring in at head coach. It's if you bring in another Brian Daboll, then who knows what happens.
Well, we need a secondary as well. That's the problem. That's why everybody can throw against us, because I think we've still got 3 DBs out as well, that starters. So yeah, it's pretty patchwork at the back. But you'll be hoping so anyway. So just throw it to Dubs, because I've got him in plenty of fantasy teams. Jalen Reid will be back soon, is he not? Jalen Reid.
Jalen Reid. It's not going to be this week, but it could be as early as next week. They're saying it could be as early as next week for Jalen Reid. Marshawn Lloyd, the fabled Marshawn Lloyd. I think he's a unicorn, but he's apparently back training on the side, doing drills and stuff at the side of training. So
did they give him a map how to find the stadium?
Well, the centre doesn't look too Jenkins. He doesn't look too badly done. Obviously Kraft's gone for the season, but yeah, Golden's not serious either. So I mean, they could all be back again in the next couple of weeks. And I don't use I don't use injuries as an excuse. It's got to be next man up. You've got a 33-man squad for a reason, and it's a tough game and players get hurt. So you just got to move on to the next guy. And it's not an excuse. We have an elite defense there who's keeping the Philadelphia Eagles to 10 points. The offense got to step up. Jordan Love has got to step up now and announce himself to be the quarterback that we hope he is, and that he seems to think he is.
Yeah, you do. Because like I say, you've still got your good young receivers. You've got good young tight ends.
I mean, it's
awesome defense.
There.
Jacobs is playing well. So
the problem is we've got 3 good young receivers, but we've not got an elite receiver. It's if we had a Devontae Adams that is a bona fide number one and the elite, I think that would help a wee bit more. But we don't have that, so we've got to get around it, and we get around it by spreading the ball around, which is fine. But yeah, they need to step up a little bit now. Yes, they're young, but they've been there for a while now. Dobbs has been there for a while. Wicks has been there for a while. Watson's been there for a while, albeit been injured so often of it. But it's time for them to grow up. They're not kids anymore. It's time for them to grow up and actually start producing now. And they haven't done that this year so far, and that's what's been disappointing.
That's a battle of who's going to have the worst kicker at the weekend too.
It's kickeritis, man. It seems to be going round the league. Do you know what I mean? The 49ers had it with, what was his name? Moody. So they get rid of him and they fix it with bring in. And then he goes to Chicago and starts kicking fine. It's just, and then it gets passed on to someone else. And now we seem to have it as well. I mean,
McManus used to be a brilliant kicker, but yeah. And have we got Santos now? Did we pick up Santos? Because Gano's gone off injured again. He's missed more games than he's played the last 3 years. And 2 times he's been injured in warm-up if I've not had a kicker. Which is like,
it's becoming a problem for us there as well. And we don't need that problem, we need to get rid of that problem. But kickeritis, we seem to have caught it. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter because we should be more points than that ahead. With the defense that we've got, we're not going to concede many points, in many games. There's going to be a lot of games where we're under 20 points, and the offense should be able to do that with or without a bloody kicker. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, they should do. Yeah, well, considering what's your record?
5-3-1.
5-3-1. Oh yeah, because it's tie. The bloody tie.
It could make a difference at the end, so I'll take it over a loss, that's for sure. But yeah, 5-3-1. So we need to start winning now, and we've got some tough games in the run. And I think in the 3 weeks of the 3 weeks of the fantasy playoffs, weeks 15, 16, 17, we have I believe it is Baltimore Ravens, Denver Broncos, and Chicago Bears away. So
yeah,
it's going to, and Denver are away. Denver's away as well. Denver's in Denver, Chicago's in Chicago, and Baltimore must be at Lambeau. But yeah, that's the 3 games we've got in weeks 15, 16, 17. So running that board isn't guaranteed. So we need to win now. We need to get the wins on the board now, starting with you in New York.
Like I say, carry on as long as Vincent has a stinker. And I don't see that very often, but the fact is against us, it's only because it's a show me the money league. And that is our home. That's my baby. The other one's my big baby, but this is my baby. So this is the one you want to
absolutely
get through again.
Yes,
especially Alan because he's always keeping a bit behind me.
Well, yes, it's you don't need Alan picking up the quarterback that beats you. That's for sure. That would be annoying. Yeah, you're going to hear about that.
I know. It was a tough choice, so I had to play May, because obviously Stafford, you might have a cracking game, and I might still play him in the Yorkie Bowl, but that's Seattle defense.
I think I've done fine with me. 20 points, a good score in this league, and for the quarterback, that was the right decision. I don't think he made the wrong decision, and I think he'll outscore Stafford as well. I don't think he'll score 20 points this week. against that Seattle D.
Yeah, well, that's a choice I got for the other one. I got Baker or Stafford. The two possible MVPs. One. So my 2 leagues, I've got the 3 possible MVPs in the apart from Jonathan Taylor, but obviously running backs never get it. So my quarterback picks have been pretty good these 2 weeks, but yeah. Anyway, so that's us for this week. We'll have to get on to the next one next.
Yes, good luck everyone
this week, apart from Alan.
Well, apart from
Alan.
Good luck to Mark as well. I don't care about this week. Good luck to Mark too.
Yes, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.